Um, Growth mindset. He or she sees failure as feedback. When he or she messes up in his or her career or relationship, he or she asks, "What can I learn from this?" and takes accountability. She usually uses the power of yet, as in, I haven't mastered this yet, right? But the stagnant part of that, whether you're a woman or man, is the blame shifting and excuses. You know, if he or she loses their job, it's the boss's fault. If the relationship is rocky, it's your fault. If he or she believes his or her traits are fixed and unchangeable, meaning, well, this is just who I am and I'm not changing for anybody. I'm going to stay this way. Well, that's kind of what you're going to be working with. And you got to know and understand, because I try to tell people all the time, love is not enough to sustain a relationship. And I don't care what it is, it's not enough. You have got to have great communication. You've got to be able to accept the other's growth. Maybe one is growing a little slower than the other. That's fine. But you've got to be willing to accept that in that light. Now, if you see that this person is unchangeable and is not looking to move or any of that stuff, then that should tell you something right there. That should tell you that they're not interested in making the change, and nothing that you are actually saying or doing is actually changing that. And you can't change that. A growth mindset, a person values process and work, right? Over just being naturally good at things. He isn't afraid to be a beginner at something new, or she. A stagnant person is often arrogant, believing that he already knows everything. No. It's so. I have always done another Roberta on the phone, but it's not. Yeah, no. Just stay right here. Stay right here at me. So often, a person can be very arrogant, believing that they already know, everything. They know everything. They don't want to hear. And I know a little something about that, because I was with somebody that was always his way or the highway. That was very annoying, all in itself. I mean, he would never say it to me, but that was like his little trademark thing that people knew him for. And at some point, you got to realize for yourself, is that something that you're willing to continue to put up with, or is it something that you really need to maybe stop and think about? And it's it's always scary when it's something new or uncomfortable that you have to deal with. But the facts are, you have to deal with it. And the more you don't, the further it becomes a bigger issue. And as grown people now, I say people should be able to end on a good note. If you're just not going in the same direction, you're just not going in the same direction, right? So you got to really be mindful of it, and not being like in lackadaisical la-la land about it. You got to really look and evaluate. Sometimes we get caught up in everything else, but not going to the core of what is and what isn't good for us. You're going to have that hard conversation. Absolutely, you're going to have it.